Right, Mark Rogers TV here at American Athletic Media Days at Newport, Rhode Island. Beautiful outside right now. We're inside with Houston head coach Tony Levine. Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely, Mark. Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about this football team coming up this season. You've gone through the spring. You have now 2 hours per week, if I'm not mistaken, to kind of monitor things throughout the summer. So your thoughts about where this team stood in the off-season going into the spring versus where you stand right now?
Well, I'm going to take you back maybe even a little bit further than that. Last year, Mark, I use the word young quite often describing our team. We played a true freshman quarterback in John O'Corn. We only had 14 seniors in our program, 5 of which started for us. So we return a wealth of experience. A lot of young men that started for us, and played significant positions. So we've had a good off-season. We had a good spring practice. I think you mentioned the rules this summer will allow you to meet if you'd like to for up to 2 hours. And we did that, took advantage of that a little bit. And again, we're looking forward to this year. We've got guys now that have grown off the field physically. That, again, I mentioned some of the true freshmen, John O'Corn, Greg Ward, Taz Bowser, name a few that played for us last year's 18-year-olds, and have gone through our strength and conditioning program, our spring practice, and our look forward to seeing them take that next step from year 1 to year 2.
This program has a tradition of throwing the football all over the place. That continues with you. You mentioned your young quarterback for his 28 touchdowns last season. How can this passing game even take more strides to be more efficient?
Well, I think a couple of things. I think last year John O'Corn took over as our starting quarterback. We didn't give him the entire playbook, so we'll be able to expand the playbook and give him our entire offense, if you will. And I think our running game's got to take some pressure off this offensive pass game as well. I think we've got to do a great job establishing the run. We've got some talented running backs, we've got a veteran offensive line, and again, I think we certainly have some depth at wide receiver. When you talk about Deontay Greenberry, Daniel Spencer, Marquis Ambrose, Greg Ward making a move to receiver full time. It would be a great move for him personally, for our program, and DeMarcus Ayers, to name 4 or 5 names. So we've got some guys that play a lot of football for us offensively. We're going to continue to be up-tempo, no huddle, and try to have our quarterback make good decisions and spread the ball around the field.
So you mentioned at the end there the offensive philosophy, but at the same time, you mentioned the running game. So what is a good balance for this team?
Well, we've got to be balanced, and I think what we do offensively, we try to determine early on, as soon as we can in each game, is what the defense is trying to do to stop the run or stop the pass. And again, we've got to establish a run. We've got to be efficient on first downs. We've got to be able to be more creative in terms of what we're doing in the run game, and we're going to. So that'll take pressure off of John. He's still a 19-year-old now, a sophomore quarterback, and I think we've got to do some things in the run game to be efficient on first down. And continue to move the chains and look at what the scoreboard at the end, see how many points we score.
We talked to June Jones just a few minutes ago. Texas might be the most fertile recruiting ground in the country, along with California and Florida. How much do you focus on trying to win the recruiting battles there when you've got Texas, Texas A&M, SMU, TCU, and then you've got everybody from around the country coming in there versus going outside that footprint?
Well, a couple of things. And there's battles. And every year out of the greater Houston area, they have about anywhere from 110 to 125 high school seniors signed Division I football scholarships just in greater Houston. So last year, for instance, we signed 24 young men, 22 from the state of Texas, and 13 from the greater Houston area. And we've got a great footprint in Houston, in East Texas, and in the Dallas-Fort Worth area as well. We're going to Louisiana a little bit, and even up in Oklahoma if we have to. So again, the reason I give you those statistics, those numbers, is we feel like there's plenty of recruitable student athletes to go around for all programs. I think in the state of Texas right now, when you look at the major colleges, there's certainly some great tradition there, some recent success, I think, top to bottom, and again, we're going to really do a thorough job of evaluating recruiting young men in the state of Texas.
Most elite college football programs are kind of tucked away somewhere in some little tiny town, and they own the area. You're in an NFL city. Talk about the challenges and maybe some of the benefits that you could take advantage of with that situation.
Right. Well, I think the benefits outweigh the challenges, and certainly there are challenges. But Greater Houston, there's almost 6 million people. It's the 34th largest city in the country. A lot of things to do, which can be a plus and a negative in terms of maybe the recognition your program gets at times when you talk about the Houston Texans, the Astros, the Rockets, the Ocean's 45 minutes away in Galveston, it can be in Austin, San Antonio in 3 hours or less. So there's a lot of things to do. There's 11,000 restaurants. It's very, very thriving. It's a very exciting city. And again, I think when you talk about preparing your student athletes for life after football, with the Fortune 500 companies located there and job possibilities and alumni base, I think it's a great place, and I think it's certainly got a lot of positives in terms of what we're able to talk to recruits and families.
There's been so much change around college football. Your conference commissioner alluded to some of those changes in recent years. Even this program's been in Conference USA, now the American Athletic Conference. When your commissioner goes to the podium, you expect him to build up the attributes of the conference, but then he backs it up with the wins, and it's an impressive list over the last 5 years. Talk about the strength of this conference and maybe some of the strength that is a bit hidden and not known across the country.
Well, I think you're exactly right. Certainly, I agree with the commissioner. I think I'm going to use the phrase top to bottom, and I don't want to connotate that there's a certain program at the top or the bottom. I think it's a very competitive league. I think we've got to continue to play teams out of conference that are from those other conferences, and I think we've got to win those games. I think we've got to be successful. And I think when you look at the recent history of our programs in the American Athletic Conference, going back a couple of years, 2, 3, 4 years, we've played those teams and we've had success. This will be my 7th year overall at the University of Houston. I was an assistant for 4 years, going my 3rd year as head coach, and in my 7 years here, going back to when we were in Conference USA, we played some of those, at the time, BCS programs and had great success, won those games at home on the road. And that's going to be our scheduling philosophy moving forward. And I think it's something that you're going to see our conference do as a whole, and I think you're going to see us be successful.
And really, I was going to wrap it up there, but that reminds me of the Penn State Bowl game where they took it to the Nittany Lions, and that one, Kevin Sumlin had the program before you. What did you learn from him? What was the influence that he had on your coaching career?
Well, Coach Sumlin, I say this all the time, I look older than him, but he's actually a little bit older than me. He coached me in college. He was an assistant in Minnesota as a receiver coach, and I was a wide receiver up there at the University of Minnesota back in the early 90s. So he's been a mentor to me off the field, on the field. Really, I credit him preparing me for the opportunity to be a head coach one day. It's something I've always wanted to do, but when I came to Houston as the assistant head coach, special teams coach, and inside receiver coach for him in 2008, he knew what my goals were to have an opportunity to be a head coach one day. He certainly didn't know it would get that chance at Houston, but he did a great job mentoring me, and I always.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.